Minecraft just revealed their upcoming winter drop, and it's definitely interesting for a lack of a better word. With the community anticipating an end update, it seems Mojang doesn't plan to roll one out anytime soon. So what do people think? Well, as usual, opinions are pretty mixed. It's safe to say it was a bit underwhelming, which was expected from a seasonal drop. In case you haven't seen it yet, the two major features they added are the Nautilus and Spears. So was this a bad drop? Nope, not at all, but it's nothing particularly exciting either. I really liked how they weaponized the Nautilus to make the drowned more dangerous and cooler. Same goes for adding zombie horses to survival. A lot of people were hoping for a full ocean update, but they might still add some features as the release gets closer. In this video I've compiled some features I'd love to see included in the ocean update. Some you may have seen in my previous videos, and some brand new ideas you'll want to stay tuned for. First, let's talk about the spear. The spear is crafted like this. Something doesn't feel right. The recipe kind of feels silly since it's basically just a shovel made diagonally. So let's tweak the recipe to something more logical. And while a lot of people have attempted to make the recipe better, something like this would probably make a lot more sense, but just for the purpose of not convoluting the recipe too much, I feel like needing 3 ingots instead of 1 would make much more sense. Next, let's give more mobs the ability to wield it. The zombie mounting a zombie horse with a spear is probably one of the coolest additions in this drop. So why not give this functionality to the piglin as well? Piglins could now have a rare chance to spawn with a golden spear, riding a hoglin. The hog rider would also have an armored variant that spawns near bastions, carrying piglin brutes on top of them. This would make the bastion's defenses even tougher, adding an extra layer of protection against would-be intruders. Other than piglins, they could also add one for the desert in the form of a husk wielding a golden spear while riding a zombie camel. The desert would definitely benefit from a new enemy like this, and the zombie camel would be a great addition to the family of zombie mounts. Illagers could also make use of the spear, especially the ones that already spawn on top of a Ravager during raids. This would be a neat little addition to really cement the spear's place in the game. Swords wouldn't really make sense here. Having a mob on a mount swing a sword would look pretty silly. The spear finally opens up the possibility for mounted mobs to wield something other than bows. Of course, the spear can't just be added without unique enchantments. While it will probably have the usual common enchantments, there are a few that would make perfect sense. First, an enchantment to increase its charging time. Another could allow you to charge up an attack. The longer you charge, the farther you dash forward. When I was making this part of the video, the lunge enchantment had not come out yet, and honestly, I feel like the way they implemented it is kind of broken. To balance it, they decided to make it lose a ton of durability when used, which in the case of a wooden spear means it literally breaks instantly if you have lunge free on it. But I don't think that's the right approach. Instead, I think it would make a lot more sense to give it a short charge time before lunging, and if you get hit while charging, the charge should cancel. That would actually make it balanced without being frustrating. Plus, it could also have an extra layer of depth if it also worked on mounts, propelling both you and your mount forward, which could make great use of the mechanic where speed increases damage. One particularly cool, somewhat experimental enchantment would be cloning. When applied, charging your spear would activate silhouettes of your character next to you that mimic your behavior. These silhouettes wouldn't deal as much damage as you, but they'd widen your attack range and make it easier to land hits on opponents. Another cool enchantment could be dismount. As the name suggests, this enchantment would force your opponent to dismount whatever they're riding. It would be a perfect counter against skeletons riding skeleton horses, letting you fight them head on without worrying about accidentally killing the horses. And this wouldn't just stop there. It could work on any mount, even chicken jockeys. And while I think the spears already have this dismounting property outside of the enchantment, I think that locking it behind an enchantment might be a better idea overall. Another enchantment that would make a lot of sense for the spear is reach, giving players just that extra bit of range to really emphasize the weapon's design and make it stand out from swords and axes. Next up, let's talk about the Nautilus. The Nautilus comes in 2 variants, a regular one and a zombie Nautilus that can host a drowned on top of it. You can tame them using a pufferfish and use a saddle to mount them. You can even equip it with armor, essentially giving us the Happy Ghast equivalent for the seas. Now, I already in the past recommended for a Nautilus mob to be added to the game, so let's build upon that idea. Right now, the primary use of the Nautilus item is in crafting a conduit, essentially an underwater beacon. While that's a cool mechanic, it's unfortunate that such a rare item has no other meaningful applications. oceans, and now with the addition of the Nautilus mob, it's going to be used less than it already did. I think it would be cool for the Nautilus to have two visual states, head inside or outside the shell, and like the armadillo, it will retract into its shell when sensing danger, discouraging players from killing it. Additionally, the Nautilus armor isn't just a piece of equipment. You can right-click it on the ground to place down the armored shell. I think they look great as trophies or simply as decoration, so I would love for us to have some way to place the armor down, maybe similar to how copper golems turn into statues after rusting. But while the Nautilus is honestly a great addition to the game, a lot of people were expecting a bigger ocean update overall, with deeper oceans being one of the most requested features. Right now, oceans are still tied to the old world height generation, so they don't really go very far down. Imagine swimming in a brand new deep ocean biome, only to look down and see nothing but an endless abyss below you. That would be incredible. This would also give the Nautilus a real purpose, since you'd need to travel much lower to reach the ocean floor, and the mount that acts almost like a submarine would be super handy in those situations. Also, the Nautilus simply pauses your bubbles instead of refilling them, meaning that with deeper ocean exploration, where you constantly have to dismount your Nautilus, and with no sufficient way to get to the surface quickly from the deep ocean floor, water breathing potions and turtle helmets would again become handy alongside Nautiluses instead of simply getting replaced by the Nautilus. Of course, with deeper oceans, we'd also need more underwater structures, larger, more grand ruins, trial chamber-like structures hidden underwater, or even a massive sunken city. Dangerous subbiomes could also exist, like a magma valley, beautiful to look at, but extremely deadly to travel through. Navigating these harsh environments would make the Nautilus feel essential for survival and exploration. There's honestly so much potential with a deep ocean biome. It could be distinguished from normal oceans by a darker water color, serving as a warning to players that they are entering a much more dangerous zone. That warning would definitely come in handy because the deep ocean would now be home to a new, vicious underwater creature. I recently put up a poll on my community tab, and one mob that people seemed to want even more than the Nautilus itself was the Barnacle. Now, while many players are excited about the idea of a Barnacle, a big part of the community is against it, worried it would end up just like the Phantom, more annoying than fun. And honestly, I can see where they're coming from. So instead of making the Barnacle spawn anywhere in the ocean, I think it should be restricted to the deep ocean biome. That way, you'd only ever encounter it if you dare to explore the darkest depths of the sea, or on rare occasions if you sail directly over them. This gives players the option to avoid the deep ocean entirely if they don't want to risk it. But if you do take the risk, that's where the Barnacle really shines. It doesn't just grab players. While swimming or boating over the deep ocean, the Barnacle can ambush you by firing out its tongue, latching onto your boat and slowly dragging you down into the depths. The more it pulls, the less control you have, until eventually the boat starts sinking and you're forced to abandon it and fight it head on. The moment you strike it, it changes its target instantly, sticking its tongue at you. To make things worse, it releases dark ink clouds into the water, completely blocking your vision and turning the fight much harder. If you manage to get it down to half of its health, the Barnacle detaches and flees, leaving behind another thick cloud of ink as a smokescreen. And it doesn't just target players. Barnacles can latch onto sea creatures too, acting like parasites. They will most often attach to a drowned or guardians, taking control over them, making them faster and stronger. With their ink bombs blinding you during combat, these fights spiral out of control quickly. And just when you think you've beat it, the Barnacle detaches from its host once either of their health drops too low, forcing you into a second phase of the battle. To make good use of the Nautilus's armor, the Barnacle will now actively hunt down any Nautilus. So if you're riding through the deep ocean with a Nautilus, the Barnacle will prioritize to attack the Nautilus instead of you, giving you even more of a reason to have one with you at all times. The Barnacle attaching itself to Guardians would also make sense in terms of lore, because it would explain why Guardians actively attack squids in the game, mistaking them for the Barnacle. If you actually manage to kill a Barnacle, the rewards would be worth it. Barnacles drop ink sacs along with their sharp teeth, which can be used to repair or even craft tridents. And of course, the spear would be especially effective against Barnacles, particularly if you're fighting them from the back of a Nautilus. Paired with the dash enchantment, and it will be very effective to escape the Barnacle and use the momentum from the Nautilus to give the Barnacle the final blow necessary to defeat it. Of course, there has to be some real incentive for players to explore the depths, otherwise most would avoid it altogether because of the dangers. Rare loot, unique materials, or even special enchantments, especially for the spear, could give players a reason to risk diving deeper into the abyss. But the ocean's exploration doesn't stop there. Since Minecraft has been pulling features from dungeons recently, I decided to bring over the Clam. The Clam feels like the kind of feature that belongs on the seabed. Clams would spawn scattered across the ocean floor, most often in deep oceans, blending into the terrain until a player stumbles across one. Opening a clam would reveal whatever it's hiding inside, usually something simple like sand, gravel, or coal, but sometimes a rare pearl, and on very rare occasions even the heart of the sea. That way, buried treasures still guarantee you the heart, but clams add a new renewable way to find one without replacing treasure hunting entirely. Clams aren't just about loot though. If you leave one underwater and open, it slowly collects sediment. If it's placed over a sand block, it eventually produces sand. If you put it over gravel, it produces gravel, and even dirt, finally giving players a natural way to farm those materials. Pearls from clams could also serve a decorative purpose. You turn the pearls into a new pearl block, or simply trade the pearl with a villager. On top of that, each clam works like a unique item display. It can hold a single item, and if the clam is broken, whatever it's holding stays safely inside. If you want it, you could even propose to your Minecraft girlfriend using the clam. The clam also has a very unique property. In Minecraft dungeons, the clam is essentially a bounce pad that bounces the player up when you step over it. Let's give our clam a similar mechanic. You can now activate it with a redstone signal, and as soon as you stand on an activated clam, it will bounce you in the direction it opens, essentially giving us cannons in the game. You can also regulate the bounce strength through a redstone signal. The stronger the signal, the stronger it will bounce you off. It can also bounce off entities and even items. On the other hand, this would only work with a redstone signal, meaning it won't bounce things off if opened manually. The clam could certainly be a great addition to the oceans with some technical uses to it. Following up the clam is perhaps one of the most requested ocean features in Minecraft, introducing Illager Pirates. I've talked about the Illager Pirates before, but I've built upon the previous idea and have taken some recommendations that I've incorporated alongside some new features. If the Illagers are supposed to be this evil organized offshoot of villagers, it really doesn't make sense that they've completely ignored the ocean. It simply makes sense that they'd absolutely want control over the seas too. So now, while sailing across oceans, there's a small chance you'll be ambushed by a pirate patrol, which is essentially the ocean equivalent of the Illager patrols you encounter on land. These Illagers ride in boats, and just like their land-based equivalents, they want to kill you. Defeating a pirate patrol gives you an ominous bottle, just like normal patrols. If you approach a buried treasure chest while having bad omen, a pirate ambush is guaranteed. Much like villager raids, pirate attacks come in waves. This introduces new boat types, medium boats and big boats that can carry up to 4 players or mobs. Some pirate ships are packed with loot, while others with pirates. You'll also encounter new Illager variants like the Captain Illager, who has a parrot on his shoulder, and standard pirate Illagers armed with crossbows, including modified versions that fire fireworks. Some variants of the Illager Pirates also wield a spear, and while the ones armed with crossbows mostly remain seated in their boats, the ones with the spears can dismount and charge head-on. They can also come equipped with enchanted spears, and on rare occasions, you might even encounter one with a dash enchantment, letting them dash toward you with their boat. To add to their rarity, pirate raids would also have a chance to spawn with boats made from different wood types. Imagine stumbling across a mangrove pirate fleet or getting attacked by cherrywood pirates, and after surviving the fight, you sail away with these unique vibrant pink pirate boats as your reward. While looting a pirate raid, you'll come across the boat upgrade template, which just like regular templates can be duplicated. This means that once you've defeated the pirate raid, you can unlock the ability to craft larger boats. You can use the upgrade template on a regular boat to make a medium boat, or on a medium boat to make a large boat. Essentially, it works like a blueprint that you can only obtain by defeating a pirate raid, and once you discover it, you unlock the ability to craft bigger boats. The big boat comes with some serious advantages. It can carry up to 4 players or mobs, making it great for multiplayer travel or mob transportation. You can also put free chests in it if you decide to sail across the ocean solo. It also supports up to 2 banners, and the more banners it has, the faster it sails across the ocean. But sailboats and the medium and big boats aren't without their trade-offs. Yes, they're faster than regular boats, especially when fitted with banners, but the speed comes at a cost of maneuverability. First, the large boats take much longer to accelerate, so they will start off slow but gradually build up speed over time. You can offset this by having multiple people rowing at once. The more players row, the faster the boat accelerates and the higher its top speed compared to just a single person rowing. To avoid chaos with everybody trying to steer in different directions, only one person at the front controls the rotation, while the others strictly help to propel the boat forward. Next up, a regular boat can rotate a full 360 degrees in about 2.5 seconds. Meanwhile, a big boat takes a full 7.5 seconds to complete the same turn. So now, players are faced with a real decision. Do you want raw speed for long distance sailing or tight control control for navigating rivers or fighting pirates. With an update like this, boats and especially ocean exploration could become way more interesting. And as a last touching up for ocean exploration, especially with such vast new content available in the game, glow torches seem like a no-brainer. Glowing sacks can now be used to craft glow torches, which would be a cheap early game underwater light source that doesn't get washed away by water. Perfect for ocean bases or to get around at the deepest part of the ocean. Let me know what you think about these features down in the comments below. Let me know if you would like to see any of these features actually added to the game or not, or what you would personally like to see added to the drop.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, subscribing, or sharing it with a friend. It really helps the channel out. And if you haven't already, check out my previous videos where I rework a bunch of other Minecraft features and give them a brand new purpose. I now have channel memberships, so you can support the channel if you wish to do so. And if you subscribe to the smiley tier, you can have your skin featured in the video. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye!